Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to work with WKO. WKO is nothing but WebLogic Kubernetes operator. Now, this is a third-party operator, which is, the third-party name is Oracle. So they have designed us this operator to work with Kubernetes. Now, the property or the usage of this, what is the benefit of this is that if you just see kube control, and you get for information on domain, you're gonna get some exception here. Let me just run export quickly. So it doesn't know what is a domain. It doesn't know what is a cluster. So to install these custom resource definitions, where we want to install or create some WebLogic cluster on our Kubernetes, so we need to educate Kubernetes about these custom modules, right? So to do that, you have to install this WKO. But before we go ahead and install it, there is a repository, and that repository content is something which we need right now. So I'm going to pull just two different stuff, one from GitHub and another one from Helm. So I'm just going to show you both of that. So just go into OPT folder, create a directory here, mkdir as WebLogic, so that we can put all the WebLogic related preparations of WKO and other items in this folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a command over here, which is something I'm going to copy paste it from the Word document. Now you see that git clone, and then I have the git clone location over here. So what it's going to is it's going to do a ls remote of the tag, and it's going to get the latest version of 4.1.star. Now, if there is a newer version of it, so you can actually download it without specifying the version like this. You can just actually just give git clone and the location of it. So this is going to download the latest version of it. So if you're not likely to download it, so probably I'll update this command over there as well, so that it downloads the latest version rather than the 4.1 version, which is absolutely fine. So you can also create a certain item like this. But this is going to take some time because it's going to build up the module, and the module is, this particular location is a bit heavy because it has the actual, deployments and stuff like that. So that's going to take some time, and depends on the speed of the internet. It's going to take 2 to 5 minutes. For me, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes, I guess. But if it's a slower internet speed, then it's going to take a bit longer for you. So I'm going to pause this video and pause it once it completes. All right, the download has completed, and you can see a folder created over here called WebLogic Kubernetes Operator. Now, this is a folder where you have the files for creating domains and stuff like that. This is from Oracle itself. So you can have that downloaded. The next thing you need to do is that you need the WebLogic image available for you. So now if you're using the Docker version of WebLogic and you see that, oh, I have Docker images, I have the repositories here already. I don't have it, but if you have the repositories already over here, well, it's not going to work on Kubernetes, because Kubernetes downloads freshly from the internet, and it's going to have its own repository where it's going to hold the images. So if you have Docker images in the repository, it's not going to work. So either you download it from Oracle itself, or you create an image on the Docker section. I've told you how to create an image of a specific version of WebLogic. So in this one, I'm going to use this image of mine. So I'm going to use this beyondcloudai WebLogic 12.2.4. Don't use this URL because I will be deleting this item once the training is completed. So you may not find this image on beyondcloudai. So don't depend on this URL. So you either create your own image or you download it and build the image, which I have given you the video how to do that previously. And on the other way around, you can also pull this repository from Docker, from the container registry Oracle, but you need authorization for it. So you may have to, you may have to log into that and download that image and then pull it out of the, something like that you need to do. So it's not working either for me because I don't have authorization for this image as well. But I have built the image, I have built multiple images. So I have all those things currently on the cloud, on Docker cloud. So, but if you have an image, like for example, you have created a Docker image already and it's right there. So let me just pull this image just to show you the example. So you have used my training before. In the previous videos, I have shown you how to do that. So now that you have done that part of this installation, so you have downloaded and you have this repository, and let's say that, let's just take it downloaded. So it's almost done. So let's just say that Docker images. So you have this repository. Let me tag this or rename this. Okay, just give me a second. Tag this image to Weblogic. So let's say that this is how your image exists. Don't ignore this one. So let's just say that you have your repository like this. So Weblogic and the version of Weblogic, it could be random. So what you have to do is like you need to push this image to the cloud. So as I'm pulling this image, right, there's another command called push. So now all I have to do is like Docker tag first. So you need to tag it to your actual name. Like for example, mine is beyondcloud.ai, right? So if you are going to do it for yourself, so what I'm going to do is like I will first delete this image. Sorry, delete the tag. Sorry, RMI. I have to remove the image. Got it. So now, if you just look at this image, right? So now I have this image. So that let's say your environment also has such image with a version of WebLogic. Firstly, you need to get your username. Okay, so Docker repository will have the username. So you have to take the username and then put like Docker tag. You need to first map your WebLogic instance to that username. Like for example, mine was like beyondcloudai is the username. Okay, so I'm going to use that username. For you, you will have your own unique username. So use that one because you cannot actually, you can tag this image, but you cannot actually push the image. So if you try to push image of this guy into my repository, if you're going to execute the same command, you're going to get it as access incorrect because you need to log in with your username and password to do this command. For example, Docker login. So when you do this, it will ask you for username and password. So when you give that, you can see that I've logged in succeeded because I've saved the username and password. By default, it saves it after you enter it for the first time. But once you've done that, right, once you have logged in, so you can just use push command over here and you can actually press enter and it gets uploaded to your Docker cloud repository. Then when we are going to in depth in this class, so there will be an occasion where you have to call or recall this image. And in that time, you need to give it like this with the full path of beyondcloudai/weblogic : the version of WebLogic which you're planning to install. Now, this is something which you should remember while you are doing that. Okay, so now this is the user ID. So basically it goes to docker.io and then it basically goes to my user ID and pulls this image from there. That's what Kubernetes does. Kubernetes will never use the Docker repository which is on your system locally. So if you're trying to do it with the local system, there's another way to do it, but then you need to have the registry Docker running with the but that also requires like no local network, but still it uses the network-based pulling. Okay, it will never pull it from your local repository of Docker. So you need to do this push step before proceeding further. So that's why I'm emphasizing on that specific push tag. So I've given you how to do that, the tagging and the push on the document. So you should not have any problem with that. So I'm going to do is like, I'm going to create a namespace over here for the Pro Tele WLS OP-NS. So what is OP is basically the WebLogic operator, and that what is WLS WebLogic server, and what is Prod Tele. It's my production application, and it's a tele application. So this is the naming convention I'm using right now to create this particular namespace over here. There's a reason why we do that. I'll tell you that in a short while. The next one which we are planning to create is a service account. Now, service account is so important for us because service account helps us to, isolate the service, like namespace isolates your entire infrastructure, which is for Kubernetes. And service account is going to have a service account created for that namespace. Now, do remember to watch the namespace video if you are not aware of namespace. So I've uploaded it as well. So watch that namespace video and understand what's a namespace. Now here, as I'm creating a service account, I'm saying that I want to create this service account called OPSA, which is service account, on this namespace, so that the service account will be only functional within the namespace of OPNS. Okay, so this is something which you should give. And then you need to run Helm. So Helm, when you run and enter, you should see this exception warning, and that tells you that the Helm is actually installed on your system. So that's good news. So Helm is installed. So if it's not installed, I've shown you on the previous video how to install Helm. So go please refer that. Now here, what I'm going to do is like, when I do a repo list, right, there is no repository to show. So as of now, no repository is added. So Helm lets you add repository and then configure that repository or install that repository. So there are two-step process here. First is to add a repository and install the repository. Now there is another step called updating the repository with the latest information, which we will talk later. Okay, so now let's just keep the two simple steps. One is adding a repository and installing a repository. So for adding a repository, you just have to give the word add. Okay, so Helm repo add or Helm repo remove or list. Okay, you can use all these three combinations of commands. So here, WebLogic -operator. So here I'm giving WebLogic -operator as the name of this repository. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to give the location or the GitHub location of this particular repository. So where the charts are located. Now charts is how Helm understands about a repository. Okay, so if you see that the charts folder, I'm mapping it to same WebLogic Kubernetes operator. So if you compare this with the previous one, it's almost the same. It's oracle.github, and then this is basically a Helm related location. Now the next thing I'm going to give is like, I'm asking you to force update if there is any issue, but as of now I don't think there will be any issue. But if you find any issues, you can give -force -update. So I have given you as part of this command, but it is not needed to give that force update at this occasion. So you can see that the WebLogic operator has been added with this particular URL. Okay, now the next process is installing this particular operator. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. So what I'm going to do is like Helm install. Now I'm installing a component. What component I'm installing? Prod-tele. So this is for prod-tele application, WebLogic operator. So what I'm going to do is like, I'm going to use the same WebLogic operator, where I'm saying that I am going to use this WebLogic operator, which is going to be part of my repo. So I'm giving that name over there. And then where I'm creating this particular WebLogic operator on that namespace. So the namespace which we just created in the previous command, and -set service account equal to the service account which we just created. Okay. So now when you hit enter, it's going to create an Helm repository named Helm operator named prod tele Weblogic operator, and it's going to use a repository which is this particular repository, and it's going to be installed on this particular namespace. Okay, so the Weblogic operator namespace with the set as service account, and I've given the service account name over here. I'm checking if the spelling is correct. All right, so now just hit enter, and then you can see that deployment is done. So now coup control get pods. So -a. Don't forget to give -a, or else it will say there's no pods found. So you should see this two pods created, and you can see it should go to the ready state. Okay, if there is any error or exception over here, then you have done something wrong. Okay, so you need to repeat your step one more time and make sure that this is in the running state and it's not ready. So if there is any restarts or restart becomes 1, 2 likewise, and then it goes to crash loop and all those things, then you have done something wrong. You need to uninstall, or you have to first do Helm. Why I'm saying about the negative stuff is because I faced a lot of negative stuff while I configured this. So I'm pretty sure that you or some of you will face an exception for sure. And I'm going to tell you how to fix it if you do that. So firstly, you need to, when we run two commands, right? So you have to first uninstall this particular operator and then remove the repository so that you can re-add it. Okay. So when you uninstall this particular operator, this particular stuff, these two pods will automatically get removed. So there is no need for you to remove this pod. And if you remove the pod, it's going to recreate again because it's coming from replica set and then to deployment. So don't have to remove the, remove these pods individually. Just remove this and it will all be gone. So I'll show you how to remove it. So if you just do Helm list and -n namespace, do not forget to give the namespace because everything is on a specific namespace. So a namespace will isolate everything else. So as of now, you see Helm list says that, oh, there's nothing. But when you give -n and then namespace name, you can see that something is there over here. So all you have to do is like Helm uninstall. Just give this name, which you have configured with the namespace. So this is going to uninstall, and when you see pod -a, you should see that it's terminating and it's getting removed. Okay, so this is something you should know when you're working with this. Okay, to remove the repository, all you have to do is like repo list, then repo remove, and then name of the repository. Okay, you can see that it's been removed, right? So there's no repository. So now you should see that that those pods are gone. So let's just redo this step one more time. Let's just go back to this and then add this repository, and then go back over here and install this particular item. So this should create your pods and should go to the ready state. All right, guys. So this is the first step where we have set it up our WKO in terms of our GitHub location and WKO in terms of your Helm repository as well. So now I run coup control. Let me see if it's up. Okay, it's up. Coup control get domain. You can see that it's not saying that there is no error or something. Okay, so it understands that there is a specific, item like this. So if I do a CRD over here, you can see cluster WebLogic and domain WebLogic. Okay, so now you see that you have the custom resource definition defined about this specific operators, and that came through because of this particular command. All right. Thank you again for watching this video with patience. If you have any questions, leave it on the question section. I'll see you on the next video.